everyone, and welcome to this video. So this has probably been, I don't know, I think it's been at least a month if not longer since I've done a vlog, and this is kind of a special day because today officially marks the 1 year anniversary since I uploaded my very first YouTube video. So I didn't actually realize, I knew I was kind of at that 1 year mark, but I didn't realize until yesterday that I was at the exact point of the very first video upload. So the first video that I uploaded a year ago was a new moon in Taurus reading. So we are officially coming full circle to my very first upload, and I have to say this has been a very interesting journey, to say the least. It's been exciting, it's been stressful, it's been like everything in between. So for those of you who also run a YouTube channel, or for those who maybe manage a spiritual business, or even just multiple social media accounts, you'll understand what I mean when it's so full of, it's an emotional roller coaster, to say the least, and it's not easy. You really do have to do this for the love of it and not for the business component, because I mean, everyone can upload videos these days. It's a very cutthroat world. You're dealing with algorithms and all kinds of technical stuff that I'm not even going to go into. So it's definitely been a journey, and throughout this last 12 months there's been so many trials and errors and so many changes that I've gone through. I feel like every time I talk on camera I'm making some kind of announcement of what kind of change that I'm doing, where I'm focusing something in my life, whatever it might be. You know, there's so many aspects that I have gone through and shifted and changed, and in reality that's just really a reflection of life. We go through so many changes in life, and that doesn't mean it doesn't apply to business either. And at the end of the day, what I'm trying to do is create a business as well, even though this is social media, and I mean, that's a key component of what I'm trying to create. So business, we are taught this day and age that business needs to stay the same in order to truly create loyal customers, and to create a brand and things like that. But in reality, I feel like that's kind of an outdated way of looking at things, especially if you're not doing the normal type of business. So for example, you know, if you were selling a product, or creating a worldwide vision of something, like, I don't even know what to use it as an example. Let's just say like a big brand name like Calvin Klein or something like that. You know, obviously there is a sense of needing to remain very on par with the belief systems of what it is the business is trying to create and things like that. So, you know, that there is a component of things that need to sort of stay the same. But with the way business is this day and age, because everything is on social media, everything is on platforms that are always evolving, ever changing, and life is all about changing, I feel like business needs to be more fluid as well. And it's okay to go through shifts and changes, and to some degree when you're small like I am, now is the time to go through those changes until you find your groove, until you find what it is that you truly desire. And I find it very interesting that I'm at that 12-month mark without even realizing, because I'm going through another change and another shift. And this is officially going to be marked, I mean, it's going to kind of not be exact, but I wanted to use this full moon in Scorpio that's coming up as my point of change and metamorphosis. I am a Scorpio, so I love the Scorpionic energy. Pluto's going into retrograde at the same time, which is Scorpio's ruler. You know, it's all about the snake shedding the skin and going through a rebirth stage. And my entire life journey over the past 12 months, personally as well as spiritually, and business wise has all been about metamorphosis and change. It feels like it's this constant change. And while that can be tiring and exhausting and stressful at times, it's also super exciting. And I may be someone who's a fixed sign with Scorpio, and people say that Scorpios don't like change, which is not truth. We do love change, but we just like change that's initiated by us. We don't like it when people around us create the change for us. So, you know, I thrive in an environment where I'm in control of constant metamorphosis and change, and that's really where I am. And doing some reflection over the last 12 months and even further back than that, because this journey as to where I am now started. I mean, my entire life has been a journey towards it, but really going down this path to produce spiritual content and to share who I am on a public platform or multiple public platforms, and share my knowledge and share my wisdom and share my experiences and all of this kind of stuff. You know, that journey started in 2019, really, towards the end of 2018 and 2019. So it's going further back, and that's when I started working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes and self-growth, and started to create the vision of what I wanted. And then 2020 was when I launched everything. That was when I went, okay, let's dive in. And that was really brought on through COVID. I think a lot of situations have been, for many people, brought on through COVID, because our lives as a collective changed. And, you know, for some people that had changed in very stressful and chaotic ways, and for other people it was scary, but it gave us that push that we needed to really take a chance on ourselves. And that's what happened for me. I'm in Australia, so I'm very lucky with the circumstances considering the state of the rest of the world, and I'm forever grateful for being born in Australia and living in Australia, especially during times like this. And I was very lucky with my work situation. I didn't lose my job. I did sort of take a step back, and, you know, our government system was very good with support and things like that. I know people critique it and say that it's not perfect, and no, nothing's perfect. But I was in a position where between myself and my husband, we didn't struggle. It was a change and it was hard, but it wasn't a struggle. And I had the ability for 3 months to focus on me and myself and what I wanted to do. And that was where my business was born, originally Awaken Spirit. And the reason for this video obviously is talking about, it's a 1-year anniversary. It's me explaining where I'm going and why I'm going, but I kind of wanted to recap, because the idea of a vlog is really not just from sharing on a platform for other people and sharing snippets of your life. It's almost like a diary of sorts as well. It's a public diary. So you're not sharing all your dark little hidden secrets and thoughts and things like that, but it's a way to sort of share your own experience so other people can learn as well. And that's essentially what I've always wanted to do, is share my knowledge and my experience and my situations so other people can learn from it and take whatever they can from it to move forward on their own journeys. So a year ago, Awaken Spirit was born, which was me moving into the public platform, where I started professionally charging for tarot readings and spiritual services. And I launched that in March, and then in April was when I set up my YouTube channel and launched my YouTube channel, because I'm someone who, I have Capricorn rising and I have a Capricorn stellium, so I have a lot of energy of Capricorn, so I love to research and I love to make sure that I'm understanding what it is that I'm doing before I go into it. So I spent so much time and energy and hours researching how to understand YouTube and how to understand social media platforms before launching it as a business aspect. So I took that month where I first launched it, got myself in the kind of know where I dabbled with everything from blogs to YouTube to Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and everything. I've wanted to do everything, and I've found what's worked, what hasn't worked, and things like that. And I had a big vision, but also smaller visions as well. And Awaken Spirit was born because it was me awakening to my own spiritual potential, my own spiritual business, and I wanted to help assist others. And that's where Awaken Spirit came into it. And then halfway through the year, I decided to rebrand slightly and call it Awaken by Elizabeth Marie, which is what most of you probably know it as. And the reason why I relaunched in that regard was because I found that I was sort of restructuring how I was producing things, how I wanted to be seen, and I wanted myself to be the brand. From a business perspective, you know, it's having a brand name is really great, but then if everything shifts and changes, or for example, let's say because we rely on social platforms, but we don't own the content on any of these platforms, it's owned by that company. So if they decided to shut down or close your page and things like that, there was this fear that all the hard work that I had done would disappear from me, and how would people recognize you or know you? And I wanted myself to be the brand, and that's why I changed it to my name, being Awakened by Elizabeth Marie. And it sort of felt right at the time, and it worked for what it was that I was going for. However, there was still a lot of things that I just didn't quite feel suited completely. It never was right, and I always knew it was going to change. I know myself, and I know that I'm someone who will continuously change and evolve until I am satisfied and it feels good. And I personally think you never know until you try. You never know until you do it. So I'm not one to shy away from a challenge or for jumping all in. I'm a jump in the deep end and teach yourself to swim while you're there kind of person. Even though I do all the research, I like to prepare, but at the end I will always go, well, I think I've got enough to sort of dive in now, so I'm going to dive in. And, you know, everything had shifted and changed, and predominantly my channel, I found, in the very beginning, I kind of dabbled in a few different things, and I never wanted to just be a tarot reading channel. I never have wanted that. I'm not someone who can just stick to one thing. I need to have multiple things going. I need to have multiple energies to work with. That's just who I am. And I never wanted to be just a tarot reading channel. But as time went on, I started shifting into doing more and more readings and just readings. And I love readings. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love doing readings. And I've grown so much as a reader from doing them as well, and absolutely enjoy the feedback and everything that I get from everyone. But I also needed to do other things, and there was a lot of components that I had forgotten. And one of the reasons why I started doing this, especially with YouTube, was more because I wanted to express creativity. Creativity is something that you guys hear me mention all the time. Every time I do a vlog, I'm talking about creativity in some way, shape or form, and wanting to get in touch with my creativity. But the art of creating videos is essentially one of those things of creativity, and that was one of the reasons why I decided to do YouTube. And one of the versions of myself that I wanted to express was using videography and experimenting and practicing and learning different art forms of creating emotion through video, because our emotions are stirred through watching something. I love photography as well, but you can't create the same kind of emotion in photography as you can through a video. So I had, as you all know, I took a step back over the past month to do a lot of reviews and seeing where I want to go with things, because so much has evolved, and one of those biggest things that has shifted has been Patreon. I know that I mention it in every video now, and that's because Patreon is something I am so proud of. First of all, because it is probably the truest version of myself. It is where I am authentically being me. I'm authentically staying true to what it is that I initially started out with, or for, with providing a fair exchange of content and energy. And you know, it sounds horrible, I know, because we fall into this trap in the spiritual community that we should be sharing our gift and giving it for free. Now, that's okay if that's your belief system, that's your belief system. But for me, I'm not just trying to just share my gift. I'm trying to create a lifestyle and a business out of this as well, and there needs to be an exchange. And money, when it comes to spirituality and business, is such a controversial thing. I don't want to go into details about it, but the way I see it is money is an energy, and everything is energy. Money is a materialistic aspect, yes, but it's what keeps us alive this day and age. It's what keeps the balance going. And as much as I love giving free content and sharing my knowledge, and I wish that I could do it for free and still sustain a lifestyle, I want to do this more. I mean, you guys know that I try to give as much as I possibly can. I try to give details and support and help as much as I can. But I've also learned how to value myself and my time and my energy as well, because I do work a day job. I wanted to say a muggle job because that's what people have referred to it as. But I do work a day job. And eventually I'd like to transition from that, where I don't have to work a day job doing typical day job stuff, but doing this and producing what my heart and soul desires. And that's what we all truly desire in the end. And for me, that is content creation, it's spirituality. And the reason why I'm saying this is because that's where Patreon was born from. Yes, it's a subscription service. Yes, you can sign up. No, there's no lock-in contracts or anything like that. And because it is parting with your money, which is your energy, from my perspective, it is me trying to give as much as I possibly can in return from that, because I'm so eternally grateful for this small community that already is over on Patreon and supporting me. And it's not just a platform. It's not like YouTube. It's not like Facebook. It's not like any of these things where it's has a slight bit of expectation and toxicity. It's a community. It's a family. We collectively decided on calling ourselves the Fellowship because it is like a fellowship. It's a spiritual journey, and it's where I impart everything. All of my knowledge, all of my wisdom, all of my writing, which is what I love to do, going into spiritual topics and providing so much information as much as I possibly can. I'm building something, and this is something that I have built not just on my own, but with the help of these people who support me. So this was where that shift just started coming in, because I realized that that's where my heart truly lies, because it's not just tarot readings, it's also looking into history, mythology, the shadow self, exploring these kind of energies to really offer true, deep, rich support for people and help guide others on their own journey to, whether it be creating their own spiritual business or just spiritual awakening and finding their passion and their joy in life and things like that. That's truly what I wanted to do. And that caused me to start reviewing where it is that I've come from and where I want to go. And in the very beginning, when I first launched my YouTube channel, a lot of my content was actually educational. It was information. It wasn't just readings. So this was me coming back to myself, coming back to what I truly wanted to start. Now I know that everyone loves the readings as well, and that's not going to change. I'm still going to, as I've mentioned, I'm still going to continue with doing my readings that I've been doing. I'm not going to set anything in stone though, so one week there might be one particular style, another week there'll be another style. I'm allowing myself to go with the flow a little bit more, which my Capricorn rising hates. But I have Sagittarius energy elsewhere. I have a Sagittarius stellium as well, moon and Venus and other energies. So, the Sagittarius in me likes to go with the flow, likes to be more free. And that's essentially what I'm learning, is how to be more free with what I'm doing and how to flow and allow the creativity to express itself. So there is going to be shifts. There will always be content coming out on this channel, whether it be something informational, whether it be a reading, and I will not stop doing that because I love doing the readings. I love the guidance and the messages that come through. I love it, and I love working with cards. That's just something that I've always loved. And my activities on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and things like that will slightly shift as well. They have already shifted. But my main focus will be in that Patreon group, because Patreon is the support I need to be able to continue to give to all of you and to give back in the ways that I can. And that's my aim, was always to create a platform for myself to be able to continue to keep giving. And there's only so much you can give for free. There's only so much of your time and energy that you continue to give without a fair exchange in return. And that was something that I had to think long and hard about. So my reason for this is to obviously celebrate 1 year, celebrating the fact that I'm coming home to myself a little bit more. And I want to start doing more of these kind of vlogs and more, more creativity again. I want to start bringing that aspect back in and sharing things with you. And there's shifts on a personal perspective that is going to make that more exciting as well. So this kind of is, and this is also to announce the rebranding, which I'm so excited for. So when I say rebranding, I'm changing the entire structure of everything in terms of the name, the concept, and in reflection to what I'm going through, and how this shift is happening. So Awaken by Elizabeth Marie will be no more, or Awaken Spirit. That energy is gone. That is the past version of myself, the past version of this business and this channel and this content. And we will be experiencing a complete and utter change, transformation, and rebirth. And from now on, all of my content and all of my platforms will be known as Persephone Rising. And I'm super excited with this. As you guys can tell, I've been building this up behind the scenes and looking forward to this launch so much. So this is in reflection for my own journey as a Scorpio of change and transformation and rebirth, and continuously going into the underworld of myself, and that constant cycle of death and rebirth. And it's a personal connection that I have with working with Hades and that goddess energy of Persephone, and that's where that energy came from. The rising component is that phoenix energy that is scorpionic energy, which is me, and that nod to the continuous cycle of death and rebirth, of rising from the ashes of the old version of yourself. This is also connecting deeper into the fact that I have wanted to start going more into the psychological components to spirituality, and exploring the depths of spirituality and going deeper and deeper into not just being this surface of just a simple tarot reading that tells you about your love life. This is about helping to awaken people to the inner knowledge that they have locked within, to inspire people to go after their life, to live their dreams, to find their passion, and to heal themselves as well, and to not be afraid of the ego self or the shadow self, and know that there is power found there as well. So that is really, in a nutshell, the reasons behind the change of the name of Persephone Rising, and the introduction to that and what you can expect to see. This is also because this is the first vlog, I guess you could say, of this rebirth. I'm actually going to be changing that and not calling them spiritual vlogs anymore, because that seems too generic and cold for what this is, because it isn't. This is a story. This is the story of my life. This is the story of my business. This is the story of my spiritual journey, and I want my story to inspire others. So this is essentially story number 1. And that is what I'm going to be doing, is sharing more of this stuff, sharing more of the daily insights into my life, because I love watching that from other people who I admire, and I have no doubt that there is some of you that probably feel the same towards my journey, or having insights. Well, at least I hope so anyway. And I'm going to continue to share that aspect and share the behind the scenes stuff, and the story of how things evolve and how things change. So I want to sort of leave it at that because I've already been talking for a long time, and I know I do that all the time. I always talk forever. You would have seen at the beginning there was a little bit of an intro of some of the things that I've been working with over the past month and getting back into art, which is another form of my creativity. And the garden that you saw me planting out was actually a small garden section that I have allocated. It's called Persephone's Garden, and I've planted it in honor of Persephone. So it's going to be a permanent fixture, but there is also aspects of cycles and rebirth and change as well with the particular plants that I chose. You also saw a little trip that I took to the botanical gardens for autumn. It was a spontaneous family trip. A lot of drama there. I almost broke my drone. I had issues with the drone connecting, and the footage, I'm pretty sure this is an issue that I mentioned in my last vlog, talking about issues with the drone, and I figured out that it was actually the SD card that was causing those issues, and I thought it was a dodgy SD card. I got a new one. It's a proper one. It's the ScanDisk one. Still having the same issues. So I think the SD card, for some reason, the drone just doesn't like having the SD cards in there, and it causes issues. But anyway, the drone lost connection on its return home and flew straight into a tree and fell down and broke 2 propeller blades. And I am lucky enough that I put it up. I replaced the blades and put it up, and it seemed to be okay. So we'll see. My little brother has thought it was the most amazing story to tell and keeps retelling the story about how his big sister, who does photography, crashed her drone. So that was a fun experience. So yeah, this is the kind of stuff that I want to show you guys, is more snippets like that. There's some plans that we're going to be doing, myself and my husband, with things around the home and stuff like that. So I just want to start sharing more behind the scenes stuff and more artistic videos with you as well. You can still expect, as I said, to continue to see all the different tarot readings. The monthly readings will still come out. The full moon and new moon readings will come out. Astrological forecasts and things like that will come out. But my daily aspects and my daily life and daily support and things will come through from Patreon. I just want to put a quick note there too that Patreon also includes discounts on private readings and things like that, like lifetime discounts for people who are members of Patreon. So there is perks to be found aside from all of the content that I put out there. So you will hear me continuously push that, because that is a community that I want to grow, because of this amazing energy that it has, and also because it's helped support me to continue to keep giving back to all of you. So thank you guys if you listen to all of this. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support on the channel as well, and supporting me as a creator. I hope to see you all soon, and I love you all. Take care. Bye.